ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
ॐ श्री
परमात्मने नमः।
अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
अथ
अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्लोक नंबर 16। नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति
नात्यश्नतस्तयोगोऽस्ति
न चैकान्तमनश्नतः
न
चैकान्तमनश्नतः
न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य
न जाति स्वप्नशीलस्य
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
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 योगो भवति दुःखः
योगो
योगो भवति
भवति
दुःखः
दुःखः
Having talked about the antaranga, the sadhanam, and the dhyanam, now these two shlokas in between, again talks about the Bhagiranga sadhana. Antaranga sadhanam is preparing the asana, etc., asanadi, pranayama, asana, etc. Then dhyanam. Then this again, these two shlokas talks about Bhagiranga sadhanam. And Bhagiranga sadhana meaning that is preparations for Antaranga sadhana, preparations for the meditation. But here, these as Antaranga here is mainly it is intended for the person who has started this dhyana abhyasa. It is dhyasana abhyasa. As a caution, again it is said here. As Bhagiranga sadhana, karma yoga has given him enough chitta shuddhi, upasana enough chitta naischalyam. So by that he gets yogyata for dhyanam and prepares himself for dhyanam by following the steps as given in the Ashtanga Yoga or as said here in the Gita, preparing the asana, etc. Now, in between this instruction is given as a caution for the yogi, for the dhyayi, that he should be moderate with regard to sleep, with regard to eating, with regard to action, so that he can continue his nididhyas, continue his dhyana without any obstruction. That is the idea. Otherwise, overeating or oversleeping or overexertion may cause disturbance in his dhyana. Because disturbance in dhyana and therefore his sadhanam may get affected. He may not be regular in his dhyana abhyasa. Nididhyasana. That's called samadhi abhyasa. So therefore this caution is given. Then the next following shlokas, the two shloka, dhyana swarupam talked about, and after that dhyana phalam is talked about. So this next following shloka, which is 18th shloka, which is also we have seen. Let us chant that. Yada viniyatam chittam
यदा
नियतं
विनियतं
चित्तम्
चित्तम्
atmanyeva vatishthate
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
nispragah sarvakamebyah
निःस्पृहः
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः
सर्वकामेभ्यः
yukta ityuchyate tada.
युक्त इत्युच्यते
युक्तयुज्यते
तदा
तदा
यथा दीपो निवातस्तः
यथा
यथा
दीपो
दीपो
निवातस्तः
निवातस्तः
नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
नेङ्गते
नेङ्गते
सोपमा
सोपमा
स्मृता
स्मृता
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
योगिनो
योगिनो
यतचित्तस्य
यतचित्तस्य
नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता.
युञ्जतो
युञ्जते
योगमात्मनः
योगमात्मनः
Sorry, युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. I read the first line again. Okay. यदा चित्तं विनियतं. We saw this shloka. विनियतं चित्तं atmani eva avatishtate. The chittam which is viniyatam is niruddha. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. That's why the word viniyatam, the mind which is withdrawn. The mind can be withdrawn only when the person is free from the pressures of ragadvesha, free from the pressures of desire. With desires in the mind, he cannot do the withdrawal of the mind. Therefore, nispragaha. Only for the nispragha this is possible. You have to be nispragha for chitta viniyatam. Viniyatam is uparama, withdrawn. Chittam viniyatam. That is chittam, the mind, which is withdrawn. Then atman eva avatishtate. That is uparama, placing the mind in the atma. That is possible only when the person is free from the pressures of the desires. So, therefore, the mind which is withdrawn, withdrawing the mind which is withdrawn alone cannot do anything. After withdrawing the mind has to be placed on the object of meditation. The mind should be placed on the object of meditation. So, the mind which is withdrawn, the withdrawn mind is a tranquil mind. Uparama chittam. Viniyatam is withdrawn. Withdrawing the mind is naturally withdrawn because it is free from rag, relatively free from the pressure of desires. Sarvakamebhyaha nispragaha. Spृगः न विद्यते. निरिगः निर्गतः स्पृगा. निर्गता स्पृगा यस्मात् सः निस्पृगः. Spृगा, that desire, icha, iha has gone from whom? That person. Nirigaha atava. Iha, the desire, icha, has gone from whom? From what? From all the objects of desire. Therefore, withdrawing the mind and placing the mind, atmani chittam atmani eva avatishtate, placing the mind for a certain length of time. So that is called uparama. In the sadhana chatushte sampatti, we are saying uparama. What is uparama? Uparama that comes after shama dhamma. After shama and after that shatka sampatti, shama dhamma uparatihi. The mind is, shama is withdrawing the mind, positive of the mind. Then the uparama is that continuing the mastering of the mind. The mind is restrained for a length of time. The mind is restrained for length of time because it is going to be placed on the object of meditation. That is the person, the meditator, going to meditate. Therefore, since it is to be placed on the object of meditation, that is dhyaya, therefore it should be free from desires. Sarvakamebhyaha nispragaha san. Then the mind which abides in the Atma, that is what meditation is. The nature of meditation is Atmani eva stapana. Avatishtate. Atmani eva avatishtate. Here you can see avatishtate, stadhatu. Stadhatu parasmepadi taking Atmanepadi. We are saying samavapravibhyastaha sutra. Stadhatu with ava upasarga will take Atmanipadi avatishtate. Atmani eva avatishtate. Yada avatishtate tada yuktaha iti uchyate. Then is yuktaha. Then is called yuktaha. Yuktaha, it means is, has accomplished meditation. First step is viniyatam chittam. That is, the mind is withdrawn. The mind is withdrawn. The mind is shut down for external Vishayas. Paranchikani Vidranat Swayambhu. The mind is, the mind along with the Indriyas are naturally tend go towards the Vishayas. First, Niruddha. First, stop that. And retain that for a length of time by placing it on the object of meditation. That is dhyana. Therefore, that person who has withdrawn the mind and placing the mind on the object of meditation, the withdrawal of the mind for a length of time, that is called uparamanam, and placing the mind on the object of meditation, that is dhyanam. When this continued for a length of time, then that person becomes yuktaha, is an accomplished meditator. He has accomplished something in meditation. Yuktaha iti uchyate. For that, there is an upama is given. Upama sprata, an example is remembered in this context. That is, how would be the state of the mind of the person who does meditation, who is in samadhi, otherwise, who is in samadhi, complete absorption. It is like the unflickering lamp placed in a windless place, yatadipo nivatastaha, like the lamp which doesn't flicker, it is steady. Similarly, the mind of the person is steady. The person is completely absorbed, samadhi. This is the swarupam of dhyana, dhyana swarupam. Up to this we have seen. Then the next shloka, from here we have to start. From here onwards, that is from the shloka number 20. 20 onwards, dhyana palam is going to be talked about. Dhyana swarupa in the 18th and 19th shloka, and dhyana palam. Here, the dhyana palam also, you will see the following shlokas, the dhyana palam, there is a definition of the jnana palam. Jnana palam is presented through certain definitions. Let us read next shloka 20. Yatro paramate chittam
Yatro
यतो परमते चित्तम्
niruddham yoga sevaya
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
pashyannatmani tushyati.
पश्यन् आत्मनि तुष्यति
Yatra uparamate chittam, uparamanam, viniyatam chittam, uparamate chittam. Yatra paramate chittam, uparamanam is relaxation. That is, here in the context, relaxation. Viramanam. Yatra chittam, mind, uparamate. What chittam? Niruddham chittam. Chittam antakaranam. Yatra yasmin kale. Yada. Chittam antakaranam niruddham. Niruddham is, it is stopped. It is stopped from the Vishayas. Niruddham. Nirodha ityartaha. Niruddha is from the Vishayebhyaha niruddha. Vishayebhyaha niruddha. As we saw, viniyatam. Niruddham is viniyatam. Niyatam viniyatam. Vishayebhyaha. Bhagya Vishayebhyaha. Even from the Anya Vrittibhyaha. Vishayebhyaha. The other vrittis are there in the mind. So you have to withdraw from all the other vrittis, and here only one vritti, that is Dhyaya vritti is Atma, only Atma vritti. You have to entertain the thoughts with regard to Atma. Why Atma? Because Shravanam has been done, Mananam done, this is Nididhyasanam. We are talking this Dhyanam as Nididhyasanam. For Saguna Brahma Upasana also same, but we are talking as Nididhyasana. Or we can take it as Saguna Upasanam, but Saguna Upasanam for Chitta Naischalyam, certain mastery. Already it is some mastery is gained, that we assume. That is why this is now the person is doing Samadhi Abhyasa, Nididhyasana. So we take it as Nididhyasana. So Niruddham Chittam Yatra Uparamate Yoga Sevaya. Yoga Seva. Seva, what is that Seva? Seva means Abhyasa. Samadhi Abhyasa. So therefore, the mind which is disciplined, the Niruddham Chittam, it will be Uparama. It will be the mind which is disciplined, it will be tranquil, it will be peace, it will be relatively tranquil. So Niruddham Chittam by Yoga Abhyasa, Yoga Sevaya. Yoga Sevaya, Niruddham Chittam, Yatra Uparamate. Yatra cha eva Atmana Atmanam Pashyati. Atmani Tushyati. So many Atmas are there. Second line. Yatra cha, Yatra chai, Yatra cha, Yatra chaivat, Yatra cha eva Atmana Atmanam Pashyat Atmani Tushyati. In fact, four vibhaktis of Atma is there. Atmanam Pashyati. Atmana Atmanam Atmani Pashyati. Atmani Tushyati. Atmanam, Ditya Vibhakti of Atman Shabda here referring to Sachit Ananda Atma. Atmanam. Atmanam is Sachit Ananda Atma. Atma, that is Brahma, Brahma Tattvam, Atma Tattvam, Pashyan Sakshat Kurvan. Sakshat Kurvan, Pashyan. So that Atmanam is Atma. That is, he sees himself as Brahma. Brahma Atma, Brahma Tattvam, Atma Tattvam, Brahma Tattvam, Pashyan Sakshat Kurvan. Atmana, by whom? Atmana is by himself. What himself means what? By the mind, by the vritti, by the vritti. Jnanam is only by knowledge. Knowledge is only in the form of vritti. Therefore, Atmana is vrittya, Atma vrittya. Therefore, Atma. Atma vritti, that vritti belongs to whom? To this person only. Therefore, Atmana. Atmana is referring to the vritti. What vritti? Akandakara vritti. Vritti, the thoughts, generally the thoughts with regard to Vishaya. That is Vishaya vritti. How the Vishaya Jnanam takes place. The vritti envelops, covers the object that is called Vyapti, and the result of that, and after Vyapti vritti, the thought goes out from the mind, envelops, covers the object, and it is then reflects in the mind, that is as the knowledge, that is Pala vritti. So two-step process is there in Vishaya Jnanam. But here it is not, there is no, the travel of the vritti towards the external object, because the object of meditation is oneself. Jnaya Vishaya is Atma. Therefore, and the vritti also doesn't change like the Vishaya Jnanam. Vishaya Jnanam from one Vishaya to another Vishaya keeps on changing. But here it is, the Vishaya is Atma. Because here it is meditation, therefore Vishaya is Ekaha Eva. And therefore the vritti is Akandakara vritti. Akanda Akara vritti. One, there is unbroken thought. Thought about what? Thought about Atma. The thoughts which generally travel outwards, it is directed inwards. When it travel outwards, it will cover the object, Vyapti. Two types of result. One is Vyapti, other that covers the object, other one is Palam, the result. So Vritti Vyapti and Vritti Vyapti and the Palam, Vyapti Palam. That is the form of knowledge. But here the thought is directed towards the Atma itself. The mind entertains thoughts about the Atma, which what the Atma alone reflects to the manifest of the mind. So it is something like you are targeting yourself. You are targeting yourself. You are launching the missile. Generally, missile is launched towards the enemies. Now you are launching it towards yourself. It comes to you. So therefore, that vritti also will. What will happen to that vritti? That vritti also is destroyed by jnana. Therefore, it is only atma vritti alone, akandakara vritti. There is no other vritti other than the atma, other than atma. Therefore, akandakara vritti. Jnanam is by vritti. How jnanam takes place only through vritti, through thought. Ajnana vritti is removed by jnana vritti. Therefore, jnana vritti. That vritti also goes away. Not all the time you need to remember aham atma brahma. No. Once you know it is gone. That vritti also is destroyed. Therefore, there is only aham, and it is not khanda, it is akhanda. It is unbroken chain of that aham iti atma, akhanda karavu. That doesn't require any dhyana, any meditation. It is jnana avastha. That is what is called jnana avastha. In spite of the transaction in the world, the person, he enjoys that jnanam. All the transaction, vyavaharika, the transactions are mithya. It doesn't affect the jnanam of the person. So here, this atmana is vritti. Atmanam is atma Satchit Ananda Atma, Brahma. Atmana is by vritya. Atmanam, Atmana, Atmana, Atmani Saptami Vibhakti. Atmani Saptami Vibhakti. Atmani, who sees this person? Who is that person? That person is Atma. Therefore, Atma, Atmana, Atmanam, Atmani, Atmanam Pashyati, Atmani Tushyati. Atma, Atmanam, Atmana, Pashyati, Atmani Tushyati. Iti. Atmana, also we can say that Vritya is at Shastracharya Samskrita Antakaranena. By the Antakaranam, the mind. The mind which is Samskrita by Shastra Acharya Upadeshena. Samskrita Manasa. Atmana is Samskrita Manasa. By the mind, by the Vritti, which is Samskrita. So by that, the person, Atmanam Pashyati, and recognizing that Atma as Brahma, that is Brahma as myself, Atmani eva tushyati, he revels in that Atma. Therefore, seeing oneself by oneself, he, the one, rejoices in oneself. Seeing oneself by oneself, one rejoices in oneself. So, Atmani Pashyan, Atmani Tushyati. We can say that like that also. The Atmani can repeat it twice. Atmani Pashyati, Atmani Atmanam, Atmana Pashyati, Atmani Tushyati. The person rejoices in Atma. Why he rejoices in Atma? Because Atma is Ananda Swarupaha. Yam Atma Paranandaha. Parapremaspada. So it is Parananda Swarupaha. It is free from any sense of lack. It is complete. So it is Purnam. Therefore, he rejoices. Atmani Tushyati. Atmani Tushyati. This jnanam, this is unlike other jnanam, unlike pratyakshadi jnanam. This knowledge, what is gained through this, is different from the jnanam gained through pratyakshadi pramana. In what way? Here, Shastracharya, they are the pramanam, the words. You don't have to apply any other external instruments. For pratyaksha and all, we operate through eyes, nose, tongue, etc. Sparsha, skin. But here is what is known? The known is oneself. Here the object to be known is oneself. Who knows? He knows. How does he know? What is the instrument? The instrument also himself only. Atma only. That is Antakaranam only. So everything is oneself. Therefore, there is no apeksha on any other external instruments. So therefore, this is a unique knowledge gained through a unique pramana, Shabda Pramanam. So Atmani Pashyati, Atmani Eva Tushyati iti. So here you can see that the definition of this palam, dhyana palam. Yatra niruddham chittam yogabhyasena uparamate yatra cha atmanam atmani pashyam tushyati. That is a palam, the palam of the meditation. And here the palam is defined. Therefore, this avastha, this dhyana avastha, in which the person rejoices in himself. This dhyana avastha. That is the palam of this dhyana avastha. So dhyana avasthayaha palam is given in the form of a definition. Dhyana palam and the dhyana pala avastha is by venturing dhyana avastha palam, by defining the dhyana avastha palam, the palam of dhyana is mentioned here. So dhyana palam is that rejoices. He remains happy with himself. That is the palam, ultimate palam. How it is presented through the avastha, through the state, the nature of the meditation. It's called samadhi then. When the mind is completely absorbed in oneself, then what is that state is? It is samadhi. So it's a definition of samadhi, in fact. Yatra niruddham chittam yoga sevaya uparamate. Atmana atmanam pashyati. That is samadhi avastha. Nididhyasanam, when it becomes matured, then it becomes samadhi. The person remains with oneself. There is no other vritti. Nirvikalpa, dhyana, nirvikalpa samadhi. Therefore, this is a definition of the samadhi. What is samadhi? Samadhi is dhyana palam. Samadhi is dhyana palam. And samadhi alone is defined. So palam is defined through a definition. Dhyana samadhi. The dhyanam leads to samadhi. And in the samadhi, there are nirvikalpa samadhi. Samadhi meaning here nirvikalpa samadhi, not savikalpa. Nirvikalpa samadhi, that there are no other thing. Only the dhyata alone is there. Dhyata alone doesn't know that he is dhyata. Only the dhyaya vishaya is there, not even dhyata. Dhyata dhyanam, dhyatra dhyane parityajya, as we saw in Panchadashi. Dhyatra dhyane parityajya. Dhyata is there in a very subtle form. Dhyatra dhyane parityajya. Only dhyaya vastu, that Atma alone remains. That's what he recollects after meditation, after samadhi. So therefore, this is that dhyana avastha, sad samadhi is defined as samadhi here. Palam is this reveling in the Atma, rejoices in Atma, tushyati. Atmani eva saha tushyati ramati iti. Similarly, in the next shloka also, it is nothing but the definition of the palam, that is samadhi. Let us read the next shloka. Sukham atyantikam yattad.
Sukham atyantikam yattat.
Buddhigragyamatīndriyam.
बुद्धिग्राह्यम्
बुद्धिग्राह्यम्
अतीन्द्रियम्.
Yeah, buddhi gragya matindriyam, not yatindriyam. Yes, buddhi gragyam atindriyam. Veti yatra na chaivayam
वेत्ति
वेत्ति
यत्र
यत्र
न
न चैवायम्
चैवायम्
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
तिष्ठति
ततश्चलति
तत्त्वतः.
Here also you can see yatra is mentioned. Yatra is asmin kale samadhi avasthayam, nirvikalpa samadhi avasthayam, dhyana vidhyasana avasthayam. Therefore, it is samadhi, the palam. Samadhi is samadhi avasthayaha palam, dhyana palam. Samadhi means dhyana. So here also it is, the palam is presented through defining samadhi. Sukam, atyantikam sukam. Sukam, which is atyantikam. It is complete, atyantikam. Atyantikam is complete without any limitation. Atyantikam, absolute, complete. Sukam atyantikam. Yat tat buddhi gragyam atindriyam. Sukam, as we know, it's only from the Vishaya, Indriya Vishaya, Vishayanandaha. Even that Vishayananda also is nothing but Brahmananda. Vishayanande Brahmanandaha. There's a chapter in Panchadashi. Vishayanande Brahmanandaha. All the Ananda, the happiness, what we derive from the Vishayas, they are nothing but Brahmananda only. The Ananda, what the Vishayas has, it is Brahmananda only, but in a inhibited form. Vishayananda is Brahmananda. Now here we are talking about Atyantika Sukham. Atyantika Sukham is Swarupa Sukham. Atyantika. Therefore, it is Atindriya. Not Indriya Gocharam, Atindriya. Because it is Atyantikam, therefore Atindriya. If it is not Atyantikam, if it is limited, then it is Indriya Gocharam. Therefore, Indriya, the happiness which are derived to the Indriyas they're all Vishayananda, that limited happiness, lasts only for a certain period of time. And also that happiness is followed by dukkam, atrutikaram, etc. It is mixed with dukkha. But here it is, because it is atyantikam, therefore it is atindriyam. Atindriyam, beyond the perception of the sense organs. It is not Vishaya. That is what it says here. It's not Vishaya. It is not Vishaya, because if it is Vishaya, then we need a vritti. If it is Vishaya, then we need the vritti, and through Vishaya vritti, the vritti takes the form of the object. For example, if there's a gata, the pot, gata vritti, the vritti takes the form of the gata. The vritti, the thought, envelops the pot, and it's reflected in the antakaranam. Therefore, pot jnanam happens. The vritti assumes the form of the pot. Now, what about Atma? For Atma also, to know Atma also, there must be a vritti. How the vrittis are created? The vrittis are created by the words of the Shastra. That is also new vritti. The vritti cannot be created by any other thing than the Shastra. Only Shastra can create those vritti. Shastra and Acharya. Without that vritti, that ajnanam cannot go. Atma vritti generated by the Shastracharya, that alone helps to, through that alone, Atma can be known. that Atma, that vritti destroyed Anatma vritti, destroys Ajnanam, Ajnana vritti, thereby revealing Atma. So even for Atma, we need the vritti. That vritti is, the vritti is through Shastra and Acharya. Now, that vritti generated by the Shastra and Acharya, it is what is again and again it is brought to our brought to consciousness by dhyana, by practice, by dhyana abhyasa. In dhyanam, it is that vritti is brought to the our awareness, that vritti. Now that vritti, it assumes the swarupa of Atma. It assumes the swarupa of Atma without objectifying it. How can it objectify Atma? Atma is not objectifiable. But that vritti, without objectifying it, without objectifying, unlike the, as I told, in any vritti jnanam, vishaya jnanam, two vyaptis are involved. One vritti assuming the form of the object, and second one is object vritti. These two things are not there for knowing the swarupa of Atma. Therefore, without objectifying it, it assumes. Without objectifying is assumed. That is, the objectifying vritti is recognized by another vritti. The objectifying vritti, that Atma vritti is recognized by another vritti, which is the seer, myself. So I am the seer. I am the knower of the object. The object here is Atma, Aita, that vritti. The object here is vritti. So I am the seer. I am the knower of the object, and the object here is Aham vritti, that Atma vritti. And therefore, it assuming the status of the knower of the object vritti. So therefore, in knowing the Atma, you cannot say, I am Atma, because Atma is myself. Unlike knowing, as you say, in knowing an object, this is an apple. You can say this is an apple, but here it is not. Here Atma is myself. Atma is the very subject. Therefore, unlike the vritti, that jnanam, that vritti operation, that general way of the knowledge takes place, that object vritti is formed, that object vritti is myself. Therefore, the objectifying vritti is recognized by the other vritti, which is myself. Therefore, subject object is myself. I am the subject and I am the object. I am the subject, I am the object. Therefore, recognizing Atma, it means the vritti assuming the form of the Chaitanyam, destroying the ignorance with regard to Atma, and after that vritti itself is destroyed. It gets destroyed. That's why I said Akandakara vritti, one unbroken vritti, the thought, which is Aham iti Atma. So therefore, is it Indriya? No, it is Atindriyam. It is Buddhi Grahyam. And there, that Jnanam, that Jnana Avastha is Atyantika Stuka Avastha. That Avastha, that Jnanam is Atindriyam. It is Buddhi Grahyam. And the Sukha is not Indriya Janya Sukha. It is because Indriya Janya Sukhas are Krita Sukha. They are done. Here, Jnana Janya Sukha. Therefore, Atyantikam. Here, the Sukha, the happiness is not created, not produced. That is why it is Atyantikam. If it is produced, it cannot be Atyantikam. All Vishayanandas are produced because of the operation of the Indriya, because of the interaction of the Indriya with the Indriya Vishaya. That subject object is the that subject-object division is there, and there is a fusion of subject-object. Here, the objectifying vritti itself dissolves in, finally dissolves, gets destroyed in this jnanam. Therefore, there is no, in fact, objectifying vritti. The objectifying vritti that is recognized by me and me that I am the seer, I am the knower, and assuming the status of the knower of the object vritti, which is Atma, which is myself. Therefore, there is no subject object. That's why fusion. Therefore, the fusion is here without the division. There is a fusion. Subject object is myself. Therefore, it is Indriya Janya or Jnana Janya. It is Jnana Janya. Therefore, here it says this, when this recognition happens, the mind na tacha evam chalati, sitas chalati. The mind doesn't stick, the mind doesn't get slipped, get shaken. Mind doesn't move from the truth. The truth, that is Atma, it is absolute Ananda, it is myself, whose nature is Ananda. Therefore, it is Swarupa Ananda, not Vishayananda. So once it is clear that Atma, once it is clear that remaining with Atma, that is remaining with Atma means it is Stitaha. Stitaha means remaining. Yatra eva ayam Stitaha. Remaining in Atma is in the Swarupa of Atma. There is no question of moving away from it. Therefore, that cannot move away from it. You cannot forget this jnana. You cannot move away. Once it is there, means it is there forever. That's why mukti. Otherwise, if it is subject to forgetfulness or if it goes away from you, then it is not mukti. Then again you have to work for mukti. Then it is not really a mukti. Then the mukti, what we call it, become mithya mukti. It is not worth gaining that. Therefore, you cannot. The words of the Shastram, you discover that the meaning of the word to be you, and you cannot forget yourself because you have seen, you have recognized that as you. And how can you forget it? So you cannot forget yourself. You can never forget yourself. You know Atma is you. Then how can you forget yourself? There cannot be any condition where you can forget yourself. That is why Jnani, in spite of his interactions in the world, he always revels in himself. Atmaneva atmana tushtate sataprajnaha tada uchyate iti. Somebody asked this question: what will happen if the person is met with an accident and if he's in coma? In coma, there the brain hemorrhage, the death of the brain happens. If the person is in coma, then will he continue still to be a jnani, or he becomes a jnani? It is only the brain. Your knowledge doesn't depend on the brain after jnanam. Before jnanam, of course, buddhi is required. So brain, in fact, brain we don't take as an upalabdhi sthanam for buddhi, we take antakaranam. Anyway, even for thinking process, brain is required. The brain doesn't function for this person. What about his knowledge of Atma? Will it go away? The person is in coma. The person met with the accident is in coma. The brain may die. The functioning of the brain may stop. But this jnanam cannot go. This jnanam cannot go. This jnanam is not that one more jnanam I have. I have got many jnanams. Therefore, this also one more jnanam, Atma jnanam. I have got physics jnanam, chemistry jnanam, astrophysics jnanam, nuclear physics jnanam. Then one more jnanam, Atma jnanam. It is not like that. So that jnanam, that aham iti, Aham iti, that aham is there even for a mad person. Even for a mad person, aham is there. That aham, when it is recognized as Brahma, that is knowledge. That there, once it is there, it is there. It cannot go. Aham is knowledge. Aham is recognized as knowledge. That doesn't require any medium. Doesn't require any form of expression. So brain is not required, even without the brain. Even if the brain doesn't function after jnana, it doesn't mean that person will become ajnani. Then all the time, that if suppose the brain has to function intact, then if something happens to the brain, then the person will go back to its ajnana avastha. But that is not so. That is why this knowledge is different from other knowledge. This knowledge, Aham Atma Brahma, doesn't require any means of expression. Any means of expression. With the upadhi or without the upadhi. Aham Atma Brahma. With the Sharira upadhi, Aham Atma Brahma. Without Sharira upadhi, that Aham, now it is one with Brahma. Without form, Nirgudam, Aham Atma Brahma. The Aham, now it is with Brahma. Therefore, Aham is not the limited one. When it is without Shariram. With the Shariram, even if the brain doesn't function, it is Aham Atma. When the heart doesn't function, when the heart as function or kidney doesn't function or malfunctions or doesn't function properly, this Aham Atma Brahma goes away. As it doesn't goes away, as it doesn't depend on the any of this medium. Similarly, with regard to brain also. So even for the person who is in coma, the jnani may go to coma, and from the standpointers look, he may be lying. Yes, he is lying only. Of course, the antakaranam, the antakaranam, what we call the manifesting media, maybe is obstructed or it is disrupted, some interruption, but that doesn't affect his jnana. He is jnani only. After death, from coma he dies. He is videha mukti only. So therefore, yatra cha evam status chalati tattvataha. It doesn't shake, doesn't move from that avastha, that is nididhyasana avastha, this samadhi avastha. There atyantikam sukham. Where atyantikam sukham, it atyantika sukham, it buddhigrahyam atindriyam vetti, knowing which yatra cha evam stitaha. Sitaha chalati. Na yatra cha na stitaha san na chalati. Tattvataha na chalati. It doesn't move from the tattvataha, from the tattvam, atma tattvam, from its swarupa, atmanaga swarupat, na chalati. That is called yoga. That is called jnana. All these are definitions of samadhi, or you can call this yoga. Yoga sangitam. The next shloka is going to say yoga sangitam. This is yoga. What yoga? Yoga means is one with Atma. That not that in terms of that sadhana. Here is yoga is, yes, become one with Brahma. That oneness in terms of knowledge, aikyam. That is aikya. That is yoga. Yoga sangitam. Iti. Then the next shloka, the 23rd shloka is said yoga sangitam. This is called yoga. What yoga? Yoga is jnana yoga. That is jnanam. Yoga meaning jnanam. That is called jnana avastha. Jnanam ityartha. Yoga sangitam. It is called by the name yoga. Yoga has got wide meaning. Here the yoga, it means the can take it as jnana yoga. Jnana yoga not as a sadhana, as the end. Jnanam ityartha. So yoga sangitam. There is another shloka, that is 23rd shloka, definition of this yoga. Yoga already definition. Karma yoga definition is that yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. In the second chapter, we saw samatvam yoga uchyate. That is also yoga. But here it is, this yoga is because of jnana. Therefore, yoga sangitam. Yoga, it's called by the name yoga. So this yoga is different. We can call it as jnana yoga, but jnana yoga not as a sadhana for jnanam. It is the end is achieved. Therefore, jnanam mukti avastha, mukti. Or samadhi yoga, can call samadhi yoga. It is samadhi yoga. The person remains in samadhi. The person is absorbed in himself. He remains in himself. That is a yoga. Yoga means oneness. Oneness with whom? Oneness with what? One is one with Brahma. That is through jnanam. Therefore, that jnanam becomes steady, unshakable in samadhi avastha. Therefore, yoga iti uchyate. So all these are definitions of yoga. In that way, we can take all these are definitions of the yoga, starting from this shloka onwards. Yatra chitram niruddham chittam uparamate yoga sevaya. Yatra is yasmin avasthaya, yasyam avasthaya, that samadhi avastha. Yatra cha yasmin kale yasyam avasthaya atmana atmanam atmani pashyati atmani tushyati samadhi avastha. Similarly, sukham atyantikam sukham yat buddhigrahya vatindriyam yatra veti samadhi avasthayam veti tatra yatra cha na sthitah sanna chalat tatvatah na chalati, doesn't move away from atma, samadhi. While in meditation is samadhi, after meditation also is samadhi. With eyes open is samadhi, with eyes closed also samadhi. So samadhi doesn't mean should be only with eyes closed. With eyes closed in the beginning, after that with eyes open, it continues to be in samadhi. Then the next shloka, another beautiful shloka, we will read. Yam labdva chaparam labham.
Yam labdva
Yam labdva
Chaparam
chaparam labham.
Manyate nadhikam tataha.
manyate
Manyate nadhikam tatah.
Yasmin stito na dukkhena.
Yasmin
Yasmin
stito na
dukkena
dukkhena.
Gurunapi vichalyate.
gurunapi
Gurunapi
vichalyate.
vichalyate.
There is a commentary by Madhusudana Saraswati, Godartha Deepika. It's a commentary on Gita by Madhusudana Saraswati, Godartha Deepika. Particularly for this chapter, the commentary is excellent. Dhyana Yoga is explained very well. If you get time, we can do it. Only that 6th chapter. So here, Gurunapi vichalyate. Even by a guru, it is not shaken. That is not the meaning. Gurunapi, guru is not the acharya here. Here it is Napumsakalingaka guru. Guruni. Guruna means greater. It is Guruna Dukkena, qualifying the Guruna Dukkena, qualifying the Dukkha. Dukkena Guruna Dukkena. So Dukkha is sorrow, even by the heaviest, even by the great sorrow. Navichalyate. So that is a guru here. Guruni. Now, yam labdva, yam prapya, cha aparam labham na adhikam manyate. Having gained, labdva is gained. Here, what is gaining? The word gaining is not to be understood properly. Here, the word gaining is not gaining something new. It is gaining the already gained. Therefore, labdva is jnatva ityartha. That this difference should be understood as we saw in the previous shloka, that Vishaya Jnanam, how the Vishaya Jnanam take place, how the Atma Jnanam take place. Both the Jnanam only by the Vritti only. But there's a difference. In the Vishaya Jnanam, I am nowhere different from the object Vritti. Whereas in the Atma Jnanam, the knower I, and the Vishaya Vritti also, object Vritti also is I. So through the object Vritti, I know myself. I recognize to be Brahma. So therefore, Labdva here is Jnatva Ityartaha. There is no really gaining. It is knowledge. Therefore, Jnatva. Yam Labdva Cha Aparam Labam Na Adhikam Manyate. Aparam Labam. Aparam Labam is other lava, other gain. Labdatu, from that only Labha also. Labdatu, Labha. Labha is gain. Prayojanam, usefulness, utility. There is no utility of other thing, Anya Vastu. Yam Labdva, having gained, having known, having gained, if you take, having gained the Purushartha. For Dharmartha Kama Purushartha, having gained, we cannot say Aparam Labam Na Manyate. Having gained, they go after again, because there is no limit for Dharmartha Kama Purushartha. Having gained them, again they go after, because there is no limit. It is always subject to improvement. Having gained, they don't consider Aparam Labham. Then it has to be Moksha Purushartha. It is Moksha, it is Atma. Therefore, Atmanam Prapya, Atmajnanam Prapya, Yam Labdva, gaining Atma, known Atma. The person, Namanyate, doesn't think there is Aparam, any other thing, Tataha, greater than this. Tataha is Tasmat, better than. Tataha is Tasmat, comparative. Adhikam, iti na manyate, other than this, iti, he doesn't think, because it is ultimate. In fact, in and through all the Purushartha, what he is seeking is only moksha, the freedom only. Wants to be free. Then, therefore, what could be other thing? There is Anatma is a competitor for Atma, not a competitor for Atma. In Anatma only there are other things. In Atma there is no second thing. There is no second equivalent thing. Therefore, no second equivalent thing, and also no knowledge is equivalent to this Atma Jnanam. That's why Brahma Vidya Pratishta. Mundakopanishad. That is Paravidya. The Paravidya is Sarva Vidya Pratishtam iti. It is the knowledge of all the knowledges. So, therefore, there cannot be better gain, better labha than this Atma Jnanam. Why? Because Sarva Vidya Pratishtam, gaining which there is nothing to be gained. Knowing which everything is known. Kasminna Bhagava Vidyate, Sarva Vida Vijnatam Bhavati. Everything is known by this knowledge. There is no ignorance left out. It is only knowledge. In Aparavidya, ignorance, all the way that is ignorance. One step, one question, our ignorance will manifest with regard to Aparavidya Vishaya. But here, Jnanam is Jnanam complete, which is Purnam. No place for Ajnanam. Therefore, Niratishaya, it is nothing excels this. Therefore, Yam Labdva, Aparam Labam, Adhikam, Tataha Adhikam na Manyate. Compared to this, there is something other, iti na Manyate, doesn't think, knowing which. Yasmin Sitaha, established in this avastha, Jnana avastha, Jnane, Yasmin is Jnane Jnane Sitaha, Yasmin Jnana avasthayam Sitaha, in this Jnana avastha, the one who is established in this Jnana avastha, that is the Prajna, Saha, Guruna Dukkhena Apina Vichalyate, even by the greatest sorrow. What sorrow? Sorrow is Mithya. Sorrow is only for samsari. Samsara is Mithya. How can Mithya affects my Atma Swarupa, Sukha Swarupa, Atma? Agam Anandaha, Agam Sachit Anandaha, Atma is Sukha Swarupaha, that is my Atma, of the nature of Sukham, Ananda. It is Satyam, and how can Mithya touch it? It is like the Gata, as though brings about a change in the clay. How can Gata, in spite of assuming the form of a Gata, the clay remains untouched. Gata cannot touch the clay. In fact, the clay is as it was before, now also it is clay only. Because it is given a form, the clay doesn't assume any new properties, same clay. So what change the Gata could bring about in the clay? Similarly, Guruna Dukkhena, there is no dukkha possible, even by the greatest sorrow. Na vichalyate. Sorrow, dukkha only for the sharira. Shariram is mithya. Even if the shariram goes away, even if the shariram suffers, he doesn't suffer. No suffering for this person. Therefore, atyantikam sukham. Atma sukham, swarupa sukham. Shariram seems to suffer, but doesn't really, the person doesn't really suffer. Because he is not a person anymore. In Vyavahara, we say person, Jnani, Panditaha, Buddhaha, iti, so many words we use. Really speaking, Atma. In the language, we have to say he is or she is. But he is what? He is Atma. I am Atma, Brahma. That is a Mahavakya. I am Atma. This is Atma, Brahma. That is Upadesha. But that what is Atma. Atma. Only we have to stop with that Atma. He is or she is. He and she. That is gender of the Shariram. Gender of the Shariram. With the Shariram or without the Shariram, Atma is. So only is Atma Asti. Atma Asmi. That Asmi without the Shariram. Without the Shariram, therefore no gender. Atma Asmi. Asmi itself is enough. Asmi means it is Atma only. Atma alone is Asmi. As me. Me is when we say me with the Upadhi. Because now this Jnani is with the Shariram Upadhi. Is Jivan Muktaha. Therefore Asmi Asmi. What about Videha Mukti? Videha Mukti, there is no Upadhi. And Upadhi is not there. It is only isness. Swarupa. Therefore, we cannot say anything that is free. It's free forever. So you cannot explain really that Jnana Avastha. It's Shastra struggles to explain. Even we find the words lacking to explain that. He is free means who is free? He is Atma. He or she, that word itself, what we use in the Vyavahara, it is with regard to the Shariram. That is Mithya. Then what is he is Atma means the Shariram is Atma. So minus Shariram, then what is that? Atma only is there. The Atma is Atma. That is redundant. 2 times you are using Atma. What is that? It's Atma is. Atma alone is. Therefore Atma. The words also resolve. No words. So Maunam only. Mauna Vyakya Prakritita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Then how can that person be shaken by Guruna Dukkena? What is Dukkha? No Dukkha can touch it. Even Dukkha will not touch the person who take resort to such jnanis. That person also, because of the association, he will be free from Dukkha. We'll stop here. Next shloka we will see. Next class. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Yayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusvara suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavada.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಶಾಲಿಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಜಿ.